History.
with Larry.
All right, Larry.
All right.
This is
Thanksgiving history time.
history time on Thanksgiving. Last week was kind of Thanksgiving week, but this one we're recording right before. So anyway,
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, by the time this comes out, Thanksgiving will be over.
yeah, it's all right, but it's still
It'll be Cyber Monday.
it will be.
That's right. You can be thankful for all the stuff that you going to spend the day being thankful for all that you do have, and then wishing for all the stuff you want.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so
that's the
the way we
American
go,
way.
yeah.
That's the American way. All right.
Speaking of which,
Okay.
this is a Thanksgiving story. This was actually Rush Limbaugh. For those who don't know, he was kind of the one person who saved talk radio.
Basically, he
Basically,
basically
yeah.
created what we know as talk radio and all that. So yeah,
Kind of a shame. Well, and I think actually a lot of podcasts probably came from
yeah.
the talk radio genre.
Oh, sure.
use a big
Absolutely.
word.
No, he was the king, and
That's right.
like him or not, you have to admit he started it. Basically,
He did.
So yeah,
A lot of people got their career from Rush Limbaugh.
yeah.
Anyway, this is the Thanksgiving story from his second book. See, I told you so. Anyway, the story is, most people know the story of Thanksgiving is,
They sat down and watched football and ate
right,
turkey.
that's right. The Pilgrims and the Indians, they played football while the men played football while the women clean.
Right.
That's right.
Is that how that went? No.
But actually, a lot of people don't know that, like the Pilgrims, when they came over, we were just talking about this. It was hard. A lot of them didn't make it on the voyage over. A lot of them died seasick and just disease. And yeah. So, and then even when they got here, they couldn't land. There's weather. They're trying to find a place.
There were no docks.
Yeah, there wasn't a port that they could just go into. And
Inconceivable.
yeah, so they had to find a place.
They really should have kept going south, though.
They should
It's
have, yeah.
warmer. I don't know what time of year they were landing, but
It was getting pretty close to winter.
yeah, I
And
would have
they-
kept going to the Carolinas at least.
Yeah, Georgia,
Yeah.
Florida,
Right.
the land of flowers. But they ended up in Massachusetts. Yeah, of all places. Actually, when they got there, they ended up having to stay on the ship for longer,
Wow.
and which led to disease because food was running out.
Dysentery?
Yeah,
Okay.
scurvy was a big
Oh.
issue with that. And anyway,
Once again, go to Florida, eat
that's
some
right.
oranges.
Yeah. Where were you?
I know.
Hindsight's 2020. No, but they contracted with a company that was financing their voyage. In exchange, when they got here, they would set up shop
Okay.
basically and pay their debt back to the company.
Sure.
And all that.
Well, like, who are their customers going to be? The Indians?
Well, that they would collect furs and things, and then they would sell it.
Send them back
Send
to
them back.
Europe. Okay.
They the company that was financing wanted them to have sort of like a common storehouse, and that's what they set up. Now, most people think the Indians were the ones that saved them, and in some regards they were. And in fact, the Indian that actually came to them spoke English, because he had been captured, taken back to England for several years, and then he was able to make his way back to America.
What was his name?
I don't remember now.
It's too bad. He's forgotten.
I know. Anyway?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Squanto, I think. But
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it was.
He did go to Europe. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The problem was they had a common storehouse, which what happened is everybody got equal shares. No matter how much work you put in, you got the same amount back. And over time, as human nature is, we become lazy and like, why am I going to work any harder? All I'm going to
Because
get
we got to survive, dude.
well, it didn't work because
No.
most of them starved to death.
That's crazy.
William Bradford took over as governor, and he realized this ain't working. We're all going to die unless we change. And he did change. He assigned every family a plot of land. Said, that's your land. You're responsible for your own food.
Is that where the song came from? This land is my land.
That's
This
right.
land is your land.
So now everybody realized there is no common storehouse anymore. If I don't plant and I don't work, I'm not going to have food. And
You would think this would be a given, but okay.
you would think.
Yeah.
But so when they realized that, guess what everybody did?
Flourished?
they planted extra.
Oh, they planted
They wanted
extra.
to make sure we're not going to
the
starve.
American way.
That's right. And so that next harvest season, guess what they had?
A bountiful.
A big harvest.
Yes.
A big harvest because they learned how to plant. Now, this is another thing people don't realize. These people were farmers in England.
We
Or
are
London.
farmers.
Yeah, that's right. They knew how to raise crops, but when you go to a different place, different environment,
bit different. Yeah.
So
You know
the
why? Because it's different.
That's right. So the Indians did help them in that regard and show them the best way to plant and
Which
things.
is kind of interesting because Indians weren't really. Is it all right we call them Indians?
Native Americans.
Right.
The
The only reason they called Indians because they thought they were in India.
That's right.
But anyways, the natives there, they didn't they weren't. Most of them were. They traveled.
Hunter-gatherers,
Yeah.
yeah.
They didn't really
Migrant.
settle down and plant and all that. They kind of let nature grow things, and then they would just go out and gather it and all that. So it's interesting. Must have been some of those tribes that actually planted.
Yeah, there were several that would actually stay there. They plant and harvest.
Right. Okay.
So because each family were given responsibility for their own
Plot of land.
plot of land and their own food, well, they actually said, well, we better start working. And so that's what happened with the first Thanksgiving was they had an abundance. They went from starving and almost dying out completely to flourishing within just a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because William Bradford realized this commune living doesn't work. So as we found out in the 60s and 70s, again,
Yes.
it doesn't work.
It doesn't usually work out. So where did the
And
Indians
guess
come in?
what?
Did they invite them over?
Yeah, they were neighbors. They actually traded with each other and they had a good relationship. So
So the first football game was the Patriots versus the Redskins?
that's right. That's right.
Okay, maybe not.
So that's a brief. You can find if you can find Rush Limbaugh's book. I'd recommend it. It's a good book. But this story, you can find the whole story online.
Yeah.
But it's a good tell of how economics still plays in part in our lives and our way of thinking. In fact, they were able to pay off their debt faster than they thought.
To the East Indian
or whoever
Company,
it was,
whatever it was. Right.
Yeah, because they would produce so much food.
I think it was Goldman Sachs.
I think so. Yeah,
So what you're saying is hard work pays off.
hard work pays off, and individual responsibility and private property makes a big difference. That's right. So there we go. That's the real story
The real story.
of the first Thanksgiving.
I keep referencing the Hoops and Yo-Yo. If you got to go look at Hoops and Yo-Yo. It's about a minute long. They tell a Thanksgiving story.
Thanksgiving
It's hilarious.
story in about a
That
minute.
is hilarious.
It's a minute long, and it's not true, but
But it is funny.
It's a little skewed.
It
They
is.
get some stories mixed up.
mixed up, which is what we love.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyways, but thank you, Larry, for that Thanksgiving. Thank you for the Thanksgiving story.
You're welcome.
Yeah.